I'm Carl Reuter, and welcome to the Stony Brook Sports Report. We now welcome in Sue Serafini, the Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Administration, and Krista Cerrone. She's a junior outfielder here on the softball team at Stony Brook. And Sue, let's start with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, S-A-A-C. What actually is SAC?
The SAC actually is the leadership group and leadership voice of the athletes here on our campus. We have 34 members representing all of our teams, and they basically have taken a step of leadership representing their team in our athletic department as well as within the community, both our on-campus community as well as the community in which we live.
How important is SAC?
How important is SAC? It is very important. It gives us an opportunity as an athletic department under our student athlete development arm to give leaders or potentially developing leaders a chance to step up and really express themselves and take on a position outside of their athletic endeavors to represent or learn how to be a leader in their community, both within themselves as an athletic group, but also within our university.
All right, so Krista, let's turn to you. And exactly what is your role in SAC?
For SAC, I'm one of the 34 members. This year I happen to be in charge of the Halloween Fun Fest. But how we run the SAC is we don't really have someone who's in charge of it. Sue runs the meetings, but as far as the committees go, each student picks a different activity that they want to run for that year. So this year I chose the Halloween Fun Fest.
Why did you get involved?
I feel like as student athletes, we really have a great opportunity to make a difference in the community, and I feel like there's a lot more to do than just on the field. We could do a lot when we're off the field as well.
So that's got to really tie in, because it's tough being the student athlete, and when you add activities like SAC, it's got to be, I guess, a heavier workload, but I guess these are the young men and women of Stony Brook that can handle that heavy workload.
Absolutely, and they're great role models and great advocates out in the community, and it's important to our athletic department to have that face out in the community, and what a better face to put on than the student athletes who, for their programs, have stepped up and said, I want more, I want to be able to make an impact not just in my sport, but actually in the community, and that's a great place to be.
Krista, you mentioned you were in charge of the Halloween Fun Fest. How did that go for you?
Oh, I thought it was a great success this year. In the past, we've had kids ranging, we'd had 8 kids our first year, and then we moved up to 12, and in the past 2 years, we've increased our numbers to over 50 kids, so I thought that was just great. And we got a lot of feedback from the parents saying that their kids just absolutely love the event, and they want to come back for more events here. So I think it was a great success reaching out to the community.
And Sue, earlier this year, 150 athletes participated in the Walk for Beauty. What was that all about?
Oh, it was a wonderful day. Our student athletes, we put the SAC led the leadership drive for all of our student athletes of every team to have a chance to participate in the Walk for Beauty here in our community. And we had 150 athletes show up and represent us. And unfortunately, the rain did not deter our effort or our emotion that day, as well as it didn't deter the walkers for the community, and ended up helping volunteer and support the Walk for Beauty in the Three Village area. And it was a phenomenal event.
We've got a great young woman here as we delve into your history a little bit at Floral Park High School. Right here on Long Island. You followed your sister Sarah, who's now in Stony Brook Med School. You're a biology pre-med student. You want to follow in Sarah's footsteps as well, I would imagine, Krista.
It's working for her so far, so I figure might as well keep going with it. I enjoy it.
How tough is it to be the student athlete here? I mean, you're handling, as I said, a very heavy workload with everything involved. How did you adjust? Did Sarah help you in preparing for this?
Oh, she absolutely helped me. I mean, I saw her studying all the time, and really time management becomes like the biggest issue, and when you have someone to look after you and someone to give you like those little pointers along the way, it really helps a tremendous amount.
So when you look at a young woman like Krista, and you mention leadership qualities, for the future of whatever these people want to do, when you look at Krista being so young and already being a leader, how much easier is your job then?
Oh, it's great, and I'll be honest with you, I actually have probably half of our group is female and half is male, and of the 34, I feel like I've got 34 Krista Cerrones in the room in terms of what they bring, the energy at which they bring, and the heart in which they desire to really be something greater and explore themselves here on our campus in that leadership capacity. So it does make my job a whole lot easier. I just have to corral them and say, okay, what are we going to be about? How are we going to impact the community, and what events do you want to be a part of?
What type of events might you have towards the springtime as well that they'll be involved with?
We actually have 8. If Krista, if you want to share a little bit about what those events are.
Absolutely. Well, first, the next one we have is our Thanksgiving food drive, where we give all different food donations from the students who are athletes and as well as the other students in the campus. We give it to the Portia Food Pantry. And then we also, later in the year, we're going to have the Women in Sports Day, which we've had the past few years. We're also having Read Across America, which we've never done, where we're going to read to different elementary schools in the area. And we have the Souls for Souls, which we donate our slightly worn shoes to people in need. And then we're also going to have the Fun and Fitness Day, just to encourage, physical fitness amongst younger kids.
When you go out and you read to the elementary school kids, how much do you get out of that? I mean, do you see the feedback immediately, Krista, when you're at these elementary schools?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have such a sense of accomplishment because, just to change one kid's life for one day, really makes a difference. And, they just look up to you, and it's just an amazing feeling.
So you're there to pretty much guide and direct them, but it almost sounds like because of people like Krista, they can actually go out there, maybe don't need you as much as they really think they do, right?
Yeah, and that's the goal of it, I'll be honest with you, is to bring them into the room and have them empower them to believe that as a group, when they come together and bring their energy and their minds and their desire and their passion, that they can create anything. That it could be a very powerful thing, and that anything they set their minds to, they really can do. And sometimes you need a little guidance, and therefore, administratively, that's what we're there for. But it really is about our student athletes taking a step of leadership and saying, you know what, we can make a difference, and how can we make a difference, and how are we going to do that?
At what age, Krista, do you think that it came into your mind that you wanted to make a difference, even at such a young age?
Yeah, I feel like ever since I was in elementary school, to be honest with you, I was part of the student council there. And we didn't really do too much, but you kind of just had a sense that there was more that you could do. And then in high school, I was part of the student council there, became the student council president. And there were just a lot more opportunities where we could go out into the community and make a difference. And the feeling has just stayed with me. There's no greater feeling in the world than to help other people.
So you got 18 teams. You have members from all 18 teams. Are you able to get out there with your heavy workload as well and see some of these student athletes participate on the playing fields?
Yes, I'm very fortunate. As you get connected to knowing them, I may not be a sports supervisor of that particular sport, but actually having that connection with that student athlete draws you out to the field to see how they're performing, and it does bring us back together. When we meet every other Monday night to talk about the weekend's performance or the last week's performance, and they appreciate the support for sure.
Now, I know Krista's only a junior, but is it bittersweet for you when your seniors are saying goodbye to you when they're graduating?
Absolutely, absolutely, because hopefully if we've done our job, though, then the seniors have brought younger student athletes into the fold, into SAC, and into that leadership opportunity, and they've had a chance to really bestow upon them what SAC is about and the opportunity that's before them. So hopefully we've started a process of doing that. Last year was my first year doing it, and it's really turned out nicely that the underclassmen have seen the role and opportunity that the upperclassmen have done in SAC, and they're saying, I want to be a part of this. So it's really starting to turn itself over.
Sue Serafini, the Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Administration, Krista Cerrone, Junior Outfielder on the softball team. Thanks so much for all your time.
Thanks for having us.
That's our show for today. We'll see you next time on the Stony Brook Sports Report.